Just from here, I can say anything I want. Hello, how are you? I'm fine. And how is everyone else? And good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Yes. Nothing that I can think of. Okay, that one you're going to have to get this picture here. Yeah, it was just here yesterday. It was fine there. I get a none of this has to look perfect because the main character is not perfect. Hmm. I think so. We don't actually need this one right now, so I can leave it out like that. This is the main one. Okay, I just put it there in case. It's not bad. It is on, yes. Okay. Right. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. I welcome you to another episode of The Science of Wow with Mr. Now. Today, we're going to have, possibly for the first time, a biology related experiment. Unfortunately, there's a lot of explanation to this and a lot of jibber jabber or talk. I apologize for that. And also, it's the kind of experiment that you have to do it at home. Or you can watch closely and listen carefully and ask your teacher to do it in the classroom. But it's something that I can't perform exactly for you here in the studio, so you will have to do it at home. Right, you probably notice on the close up uh, video section that I have a paper in front of me, ordinary A4 piece of paper. And on this paper, there's a dot or a circle and a cross, or some people might say it's an X. These are the two objects that you're going to have to draw roughly in the middle of the paper, and the distance between the dot and the cross should be initially, say, 10 centimeters. Now, the experiment is to show you that when a human being is using one eye, something very peculiar happens that most of us are not aware of. And this is that you have a blind spot. The reason why most of us are not aware that there's a blind spot is because we are usually using two of our eyes. But when you use one eye, it becomes very apparent. And what I'm going to ask you to do at home is, once you've drawn the dot and the cross like this on the paper, as I have done, then what you need to do is to pick the paper up and hold it out in front of you at arm's length. So now we'll probably switch to the wider view video, and you are going to hold it out in front of you like it was a book, and start off with the paper held at arm's length, fully extended. The next thing you're going to do is to choose one of your eyes, whichever one you desire. Whether it's the right or the left eye, it doesn't matter. I'm going to choose my left eye. You close the left eye, and with the right eye, you focus across the paper to the dot, and you only look at the dot. Once you are intent and closely focusing on the dot, slowly move the paper towards your face, which means you are bending your arm and the paper is getting closer. And still focusing only on the dot, you'll notice with me right now, it's here. The cross has disappeared. It's not on the paper anymore. Continue to bring the paper closer to your face, and lo and behold, for me right now, it's here. The cross has come back. So somewhere in between my half extended arm and maybe 2/3 closed, the cross disappears. The reason for this is simply going across the paper. You look only at the cross, fully extended arm, and slowly bring the paper. This time, the cross remains, but the circle disappears. Continue to bring it towards your face, and now the dot has come back. So there's a small field in which you cannot see either the dot or the cross, depending on which eye you have closed. The other thing that's important, it is a bit difficult in the beginning to keep your focus on one of the symbols, whether it's the dot or the cross. You tend to have your eye that is open shift or move. If that happens, the experiment really won't work. You really have to be very steadfast and committed and focus only on the cross or the dot. So again, I'm going to say this. With my left eye closed, I focus across the paper. My right eye is open, so I'm looking at the object on the left-hand side of the paper, which happens to be the dot. I'm going across the paper. With my left eye open, I must focus on the cross. And that cross now happens to be on the right-hand side of the paper. So I'm focusing across. It's very important to keep that straight. And now if we can shift very quickly to the zoom in camera, we'll point out to you on the paper, the dot is on the left-hand side of the paper. The cross is on the right-hand side. Okay? Once you have that, when you're bringing the paper in and out from an extended position towards your face, you'll be amazed when one of the two symbols disappears. And once you have experienced that, as soon as that happens, I can almost guarantee to the audience that you'll actually go, the breath will come out of you. Like you'll be so surprised that something seems to have disappeared when in fact it hasn't disappeared at all. It's still on the paper, but your eye cannot see it anymore. That's it for the biology experiment. I thank you for listening and have an enjoyable rest of your day or evening or early morning session. Thank you very much. And bye-bye. That's it for today. I'm Friday. I'll come in, and it will be early in the morning, I think, because